Pops is diving into some really cool information on procrastination. It's 5 types of procrastinators. And who am I? By the way, I'm his daughter, Katie. We are full-time RVers. We travel around the country, U.S., in the United States. And we do these marketing shows a couple times a week on different YouTube channels. Where usually help other marketer friends, you know. So we've been doing these for quite some time. But anyway, information, and I just wanted to do a quick intro on information on his refocusing coaching. Pops is a coach, and what he does is he helps people break through some of these challenges to either break through from life or in business. He's given away a free 45-minute consultation call. Just go to refocusingcoaching.com, and it'll go to a page of a form that you can just fill out. It goes to his email. You can just tell him, you know what, I'll see what you got, see if you can hands. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go to this procrastination presentation and find out what are these 5 procrastination types, because I'm willing to bet I'm wondering if I'm, if not 2, maybe 4 out of those 5, and we'll see what that is. So I'll be taking notes, and take it away, Pops.
And so we pick up on that stuff when we're kids, and we actually hold on to it and harbor that stuff. We're just kids in adult bodies, really. You know, we all still want and have the same emotions as when we were kids, and it follows us, and we grow with it, and we cover the stuff up a lot when we become adults, because we learn that showing some of these emotions aren't conducive to being able to get along with other people. So the 5 procrastinator types that I have recently discovered is a neurotic perfectionist is number 1, and number 2 is the big deal chaser, aren't even aware of anymore. What will happen is our body will influence our brain rather than the other way around. And the need to be ready. Everything has to be just right, and they won't move forward because they think they don't know enough. They think that they're not ready to present anything, because, and even when there was a camera with other people around, but I'm alone at times, you know, and trying to do it ready. So I was always in the overwhelmed state, so I couldn't function. And that is, you know, for someone who is in online marketing, it can be pretty serious. All of these are serious because it all holds you back. And chaser is always after the big deal. Speak well, but they're always looking for that high and for the big deal. You know, they can get started, but then they can't finish it. So they start and recognizes from past experiences that relate to what we're trying to do now will hold us back, because it relates to the fight or flight danger, and it will affect what we do. And until we can get our brains to control the body, which can take coaching or it can take meditation, it can take all the above, in order to get past that and learn what we need to do to eliminate that stuff. And a lot of it has to do with just sitting back and thinking about, why is it that I can't do this, and trying to really take a look, like the term would be become the watcher watching. So you're watching your emotions and you try to figure out where the heck that all came from. If you can figure it out easy enough for a time in the past where, oh yeah, you know, this is probably where this came from. Like if, you know, you have to do this, you have to do that. We're told when we're kids, you have to do that. And sometimes we're just going, oh, I don't want to have to do that. So that also carries over. And I've experienced that. A very good friend of mine who would likely pop on here would always use the term, you need to understand, you need to do this, you need to do that. And that in itself is true. We need to do that stuff. We need to do whatever it takes to move to the next level. But something in me would fight that off, because I had an affinity to authority. Even when I was a kid, I wasn't very astute in school. Later on in school, at first it was fine, but as I grew older, I had kind of an affinity to authority. And I became a union steward when I was in the post office just for that very reason, because, supervisors don't always act in a fair way. And I was with some of what they did. And so I became a union steward, and I had protection. I could fight that for other people. And so that influenced good in my adulthood. However, I don't have supervisors. Now it's me. Now I'm battling my authority and my own authority, and that is not good. That will create procrastination. And there is a triangle for a warrior. If you can imagine a triangle. Actually, I'm going to draw this out. And they're chronic rebellers. They also are like the warriors. They are the biggest wingers. They will wing. They'll try to wing all the time. Instead of being able to make themselves prepared, they'll wing it. They'll just fly off the cuff, and they'll be all over the place. And they can't seem to sit down and concentrate on something in order to complete it. So they too can't close that loop because something is blocking them. And again, it could be fear, it could be doubt that compiles on that. And it too would stem something from the past where our influencers we have allowed our influencers actually to plant something in our brain willingly that we hold on to and we can't seem to get rid of. And that is oftentimes what all this is all about. Some of the people that we see that are succeeding and they are systematic and they get things done. They have all said that they have had mentors, they have had coaches, they have had other leaders that have showed them along the way, and they finally woke up and was able to move forward. Then the next one would be the drama addict. And the drama addict is, again, they all seem to be what they imply. They're usually chronically ill. They're sick. They're victims. They're in conflict all the time. They create drama. Oftentimes they're overweight, and they are really the biggest spiritual and energy vampires on the planet. If you sit down and try to talk to a drama addict, they're going to be the poor me person. This happened to me. I probably can't do this because of this. I can't help it. Stuff like that. And they will really just knock the wind right out of your sails if you try to have a conversation with them. And many of us have talked to or know people that are drama addicts. I know I have. It doesn't come out. But you put them in another situation where there's nothing that can draw their interest away from all their drama, they'll create it. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's a vicious circle. And oftentimes what I find is when you do find them, they'll still crop up when we have thousands and thousands of thoughts that come through our head. And if we were actually something that's a private thing, and there's really no need, unless you're at, I suppose, a fundraiser where you have like-minded people for the same charity, maybe talk about the outcome and what the benefits will be. But they don't typically talk about how much they give or why they gave or anything like that. They're not looking for the praise. The angry giver is always looking for the praise. And that is a personality trait. And I say that because all of these things become a personality trait over time. The longer we do things, it becomes a personality. Prior to that, it may be something that we have experienced and we talk to people about a little bit. And then the longer we hold on to that, it just becomes part of you. But they all can be gotten rid of, get you something. Talk about giving. And a lot of the angry givers, if you ask them what they want to do in life, and they make a big drama scene out of, I just want to help people. Scientifically documented reactions and actions that these types of procrastinators exhibit. And the reasons why they procrastinate, because they are unconsciously conscious of what they're doing. So it just follows their flow. It becomes their personality, and they think it's normal for them, and they are comfortable with that. And it's hard to get out of that. They edify their own generosity. The angry givers. Well, we all in this industry that we're part of, we like to go to events, and a lot of these folks go to events, and there's one reason for that is because they can escape those emotions, or they can feel those emotions and become excited about other things, and they will, let's see if I can read this. I really scribbled this one. Well, the events will shape our feelings, actually, because of the excitement and the people we talk to, and we'll come off of those lows and feel the high vibration, and it'll be an escape. And then we don't, the events to end, well, even those that aren't in those states, don't, that would be a very good reason. A lot of the procrastinators that we're talking about here would rather the event just keeps going, because they can escape some of them feeling they aren't aware that they can get rid of them in another way. So that's when the body runs the brain, operating in a conscious, unconscious way, and it drives their feelings. The recovery is to let go of the effects and allow the brain to drive the body then. So you need to let go of those feelings, try to root them out with help if you need it. Sometimes meditation can help with that. I like to meditate, and it has really had some very good benefits for me, and recognizing some of my past things that actually they're lies. I call them lies, and other people you'll hear will call them lies, because a lot of times we pick up on something that someone does in our family or in school, and we make up a story that we attach to it, and oftentimes we'll feel that we are to blame, or that it's something that we did that caused that. So again, feel the blame. And then we don't have any way to figure that out. We're not going to go talk to somebody. We typically don't go say, hey, why did that happen? And even if we did, they may not even be able to answer that. And so we carry that with us into adulthood, but we repress it so deep that we're not even aware of it. We're not consciously conscious of them. And through coaching and meditation, you can become consciously conscious of them and try to work them out of your persona, and change your state. And it all leads back to basics to be done rather than find ways to avoid, which leads to the disappointment and harboring some of these feelings will create disappointment. So you're going to miss that appointment with your goals or with your destiny, and you won't even sit out. So you'll procrastinate because that is a comfortable place to be. And it all typically comes from our childhood, that we sometimes hold on to and repress because it is a familiar state of being. We're comfortable with it. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, and he is into the science of figuring out the mind and body coherence, and he talks about where you are coherent, your brain can control the body. And your subconscious, he claims, is actually your body, because your body holds the emotion, it has the feelings, and it can drive the brain, because the brain is just always open to our feelings. We feel something, and we go with it. So when the body can take over the mind, we can control those feelings, step back, take a break, take a look at why you're feeling those feelings and become aware of where they came from and how you can get rid of them, and take whatever steps that you need, because we don't want to continue on in that procrastination state, whichever category one may fall into. And I've yet to find the other categories, but I'm still looking. There may be. These are the 6 that I've come across to date. And I felt really that this was important to share. Some of them are new that I just discovered when I started listening to this, and I need to work through them. And coaching is a good way to do it. I have a coach. I love having my coach, because having somebody else from the outside looking in can tell us something that we won't recognize. We would never recognize. It would be an aha moment when they say something and you go, oh yeah, that's what happened. And it's, again, typically a lie, a falsehood, and how you really want to dig into it. And there is every reason to want to, for family, getting along with other people, friends, family, co-workers. When you become in a coherent state of mind, when somebody that has always bugged you in the next cubicle or the next machine you're operating, they bug you. But you can overcome that, and you won't even feel any desire to shut them out. Or
I put a star next to 4 of them out of the 6. And if I could just tell you right now that I'm definitely a neurotic perfectionist. So that's definitely a huge part. Yeah, with you, right, Pops? I've never been a big deal chaser. I may have been turned out to be one if I knew in the beginning how to recruit and have that and know that high. And I can understand as I was growing my business what it feels like to finally get that first person in your business. And I kind of can feel that, but I'm not a deal chaser. I'm a very loyal person. I stick with one company as long as they treat people right and they have the right products and they are authentic and they just say the right things. You know what I mean? It's just like they're really genuine and out for, to help people. So I'm really loyal when there's a company that long-standing, right? The third one is chronic worrier. I put a star next to that because, I've had been a little bit nervous to move forward because I always lived in my past thinking, well, maybe that wouldn't work because, I've tried that before and it failed miserably. I want to save face. So maybe I shouldn't try it this time or something like that. I'm a rebel in certain different ways, but not as far as procrastination, because I hate conflict. I certainly do not look for that conflict. On the flip side, I did put a star next to drama addicts because I've always looked for a reason why I can't do it. So that's obviously the drama part of it, where I was looking for that drama. Like I was kind of like putting myself in that victimhood and saying why I couldn't do something. So that's huge. And the other one is the angry giver, because I have to tell you that for someone who grew up really shy, who never really, I didn't find my voice until later, and I was very shy, yet I was very outspoken at home. Yet I felt like as I started to get out of my shell, especially in network marketing, I felt like I needed to gloat. I felt like I needed to, hey, yeah, I knew this. I always felt like before I was the last to know, but now it's like, oh my God, I knew that. Or, oh my, so I was like always looking for that praise that I was like, yeah, I already knew that, or something like that's huge for me. So I think that, having that kind of, these kind of procrastination, these types of procrastination, and realizing who you are and how you are really opens up, and now you can actually take care of it and find out where it came from, or know that you don't even want to know where it comes from, but you still want to change yourself. So you got to find ways and tools that'll help you change and move right through those, these limited beliefs. And like what Pop says, it's a huge, what did you say? it's personality traits that turn into personality traits that you really get stuck because, without knowing it. And it's about self-confidence is what pretty much is. I don't want to say cure, but it really helps out, right? Is that what pretty much what I got out of it? So thanks, yeah. Pops.
So if we can get rid of the the first word in a lot of these, like the neurotic perfectionists, it's okay to want some perfection in your business and your life to a certain degree, but not to the point of neurosis. And the big deal chaser, well, we all want to have a big deal. If something happens to come along that looks like it has a lot of potential, yeah, fine. But to go out looking, once you're set in a business environment where if you can get past some of the procrastination and keep moving forward and you like doing what you're doing, and typically the big leaders will put their blinders on and they'll just keep right on a trucking and whatever they're doing, and they don't really look around for any other big deals. They'll pick up some smaller ones for multiple streams of income, which is an important thing to do. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket, sir, because you never know if a company may fail. It has happened to a lot of people, both in network marketing, internet space, and the brick and mortar industry. All the different industries that happens, they close their doors. Being a worrier, we all have some concern. I wouldn't want to attach worry to me. Having concern, yeah, it's good to be concerned about some outcomes or if you're going to get it right. If you weren't concerned and you started going down a road and things are going south or turning to crap, you want to be able to be aware of it, be concerned and turn around and find a different road or learn from that and move on in a different direction. And oftentimes you may find this is the right way to go and you head back down that way and you break through the wall. That happens to some people as well. To be a rebel, well, yeah, I got rebel in me. A lot of us do. Internet marketers are kind of rebels, but to be a rebellious rebel can be a little harmful. When you really start bringing this into your persona, it does some harm. Drama addict doing, addiction, not really. You start, you try to go to a shrink or a doctor with all these things, and they start putting you on some antidepressant drugs or whatever else to try to hide whatever it is that you're experiencing is actually all it'll do, and you'll actually become a double addict. You'll be addicted to whatever the issue is, and then you'll be addicted to the screwy drugs they throw you on. That ain't good. Being a giver, that's awesome as long as you make sure you take care of yourself first. Like they say on the airplane, put the mask on before you try to help anyone else. That or a new relationship or something like that over time, some of the stuff starts cropping out because it's part of our persona and we don't know it. And I found that out through my coaching. When I had a personal coach, I found out a lot. And it really helped me. And that's part of the reason I decided to become a coach, is because of what I've learned and what I'm still learning. I know that I can help other people try to overcome. And I say try because no other person can carry the magic wand, but I do have the tools. Coaches typically have the tools and the listening skills to help you realize, to help the people who are in need realize where they can change their attitudes and their mindset and really be consciously conscious of what they're doing and control their body through their mind and their brain. So I think with that, we're pretty close to being done, aren't we, Kate? Yeah. We're going to break typically at 45 minutes so we can have our audience go over to Rocket Ricky, who is going to be next at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central. 8, I'm sorry, 8, I don't know where the heck I'm at what time. At any rate, I will say thank you very much for joining us, and I hope you have found some benefit. And if you have any questions, feel free to click on the link for refocusing coaching, and we'll have a chat. I'd love to talk to you. And with that, have a great week. Until next week, take care.
Oh, I think that is perfect, Pops. Thank you so much. You can end the show, and I think people will thoroughly